Well, last time I was at workshop. I feel like January is a lot of drive careful. Even at the high school, it's crazy. Like I was like,
Not formally, just initially.
right, exactly. Yeah. Every year. They would send us crazy paying for the lawn. So I'm like, I want it's supposed to be a snowy winter. Yeah, and every time in the first couple weeks, I'm like, oh, that's the best money I ever spent. Yeah, we would never go there. Yeah.
All right. I'd like to call this meeting of the Lowell Board of Education's regular meeting for February 9th, 2026 to order. Would you all please rise and repeat the pledge of allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? Any public comments on agenda items? Okay. And we're just going to move right along to the student council report.
Good evening. Recently at the high school, we have held our unified basketball game during an assembly at the school. It was a great success in getting student involvement, and it highlighted the importance of inclusion and school unity. Along with this, unified sports merchandise is being sold at the high school and also will be going on sale to the public. It's giving our community another way to show support to our amazing program. The Performing Arts Center is also very busy preparing for our upcoming performance of Chicago the Musical. Our performances will be March 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then the 13th and 14th. Despite the week missed of rehearsals due to snow days, actors and crew are hard at work to stay on track and put together an amazing show. This week, February 12th, we will be hosting our Freshman Welcome Night. This event will help incoming students and their families feel comfortable and excited about joining the high school. Students are also looking forward to our midwinter break, even though it feels as if we've already had one with all of our snow days. Lastly, we would like to recognize National School Counseling Week, which was this past week. We often see our counselors for scheduling changes, college applications, but their work goes far beyond that. They're here to support us through our mental health, solving problems, and guide us through challenges we may face throughout our 4 years at the high school. They don't just make us better students, but they also help us better prepare for the world after graduation. Thank you all for your time. This has been your Student Council Report for February 9th, 2026, your student representative, Gianna Gates-Dupree.
Thank you. Now I need a motion for the consent grouping, to accept the consent grouping as listed.
We'll make that motion.
All right. Moved by Jen,
I'll support.
supported by Jessica. That the Board of Education approve the consent grouping portion of the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries.
I think it's worth noting that this month's consent grouping does include the annual Schools of Choice resolution, so that does opt us out of the state Section 105 Schools of Choice and opts us into the Kent County Schools of Choice for in-county, and then we participate in the 105C for outside of Kent County for Schools of Choice students that surround Kent County.
Action items, okay, our high school crafts arts class. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, if you want to call for a motion
Call
and
for
then
motion
we'll
first.
have some discussion.
I need a motion to approve the addition of the crafts arts class at the high school.
So moved.
Moved by Annie
Second.
and supported by Pat. The Board of Education approved the addition.
Yeah, and for this one, I will turn over to Mr. Goff, who's going to talk a little bit more about the crafts arts class and how it fits into the overall art program.
So the craft arts class was approved through the Curriculum Council as a pilot last year, so they ran it for the first time this second trimester with roughly 30 students. It's intended as an entry-level course similar to Art 1, but with a little lower entry point for students who may not feel like they have a great love of art or they have a lot of experience with art. So it's more of a life skills, how art applies to general life, crafts and so on. So they ran it again the second trimester with about 30 students, and that generated 90 requests for the upcoming school year, indicating that students valued the course and that we have plenty of enrollment to run at least a section of that class going forward. It will meet the VPAA, Visual Performing and Applied Arts Merit Curriculum requirement, so it meets half of that 1 credit requirement. Students would still have to go on and either take Art 1 or some other course in the art sequence. So the idea is to create a more inviting entry-level course and then hopefully draw some students into the higher level art program that would not otherwise see themselves as potential artists.
Any other questions? I do have a question. What about, what kinds of actual art do the kids do? Or is it more like a art history?
It's an actual art course, so it's actually less of the art history and the technical side of art and more crafting that you would do ongoing in life, scrapbooking. So an easier entry level into those art concepts. I should have mentioned as well, it's not an additional cost because it would just simply offset seats that would otherwise be taken in art.
Okay, thank you.
I have someone in that class, there's a lot of fun stuff they're doing.
Oh, good.
Weaving, and there's a lot of different arts that they're exposed to.
Okay, so I need to have a vote on approval of the addition of the crafts art class at the high school. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now to the Bushnell Elementary Sinking Fund. I need a motion that the Board of Education authorize Owen Ames Kimball to issue a notice of pending awards in the amounts indicated for the contractors and suppliers listed below, pending confirmation that all requirements of the contract documents have been met. Furthermore, upon receipt by Owens Ames Kimball Company of the appropriate documentation, contracts be awarded to these contractors and suppliers by Lowell area schools. Lath, plaster, drywall, and acoustical, Brightsma Associates, $14,582. Plumbing, Advantage Mechanical Refrigeration Incorporated, $143,375. Fire alarm, Riverside Integrated Systems, $83,321. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Jen,
I'll support.
supported by Jessica.
I think it's worth noting in this project that the total cost of these projects did come in well under estimates, so gave a little bit of flexibility within that sinking fund as we talk about future sinking fund projects. Also, I would point out that the for the plumbing with Advantage Mechanical, they were not the lowest base bid, but you'll notice there was an alternate for compression fittings, which pulled them down to the lowest total bid, and so that's why it may appear that there's a discrepancy on the tabulation sheet, but they're the lowest overall bidder.
So those fittings, I mean, the alternate, we bid them, and then the alternate was something we thought was better, but not necessarily worth the money, or just something that we just gave them the option on?
Gave the option on. I think it depends who you talk to.
Yeah, I saw one was higher and one was lower.
And yeah, and so it just depends on who you talk to, and as far as having a fitted threaded coupling versus the compression fitting. And so it sounds like this is kind of the standard practice today to move towards this compression fitting.
Any other questions?
So then the lab plaster drywall stuff is the repair after all these pipes are replaced?
It's a lot of
or-
ceiling tiles.
Okay.
So that it's in the ceiling,
Yeah.
and so this is
Yeah.
the ceiling tiles.
So the pipes are replaced and then the other bit is for the fixing it all?
Yep.
Okay.
It looked good. Any other questions?
The fire, all, just because we're up above the ceiling, getting it all done at the same time, or is that?
No, that's a separate
Okay.
issue with the fire panel.
Okay.
So as we are doing construction in the building, we need to make upgrades to the
Okay,
fire panel.
got it. So just to get us on the code.
Good question, yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, the MSBO bus purchase program.
Need to skip.
Oh, sorry.
We
Where
have
did I
one
go
more,
to?
we have one more sinking fund.
Oh, no, sorry, high school sinking fund, so sorry. I need a motion, that the Board of Education authorize Owen Ames Kimball to issue a notice of pending awards in the amounts indicated to the contractors and suppliers listed below, pending confirmation that all requirements of the contract documents have been met. Furthermore, upon receipt by Owens Ames Kimball of the appropriate documentation, contracts be awarded to these contractors and suppliers by Lowell area schools. General trades, Vander Cody Construction, $39,800. Flooring by Phoenix Interiors, $71,968. Elevators, McNally Elevator Company, $119,578. Fixed audience seating, Irwin Seating Company, $250,390. Electrical and fire alarm, Lumen Electric Incorporated, $17,800. Need a motion.
So moved.
Support?
I'll support.
Any information on, to be added?
Yeah, I would just say that this is for seating and flooring, so carpet, as well as the painted concrete in our auditorium, the LPAC. So Gianna mentioned the upcoming musical, 2027 musical, will be enjoying that in new seats. So look forward to that project and recommend that. I'd also just note the elevator improvements, so similar with making updates to the fire code, to the fire panel because of code, similar updates with the elevators at the high school.
Now, are these the elevators, the regular elevator that people use, and then the elevator behind the stage?
It's both,
It's
correct.
both,
So
okay.
there's one that goes down into the orchestra pit as well as the one that's out in the hall.
All right. Any other questions?
The general trades, does that include the repairs that we're doing on the floor below the carpet?
Yes, yep.
And then flooring, are we replacing carpet as well?
Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna do the flooring underneath where the carpet is, underneath the seats?
So underneath the seats is painted concrete, and so that will be repainted. The flooring will be removed and be replaced.
How much repair do we have to do to the concrete where the seats have been for, 30 years?
There are some areas where some of the seats are coming loose, and so, we've been advised by experts that all of those are repairable, and so, how much, I would say, the ones that are broken. So, I'm not sure exactly how much, but it'll be, a fair amount of redoing that concrete so that those anchors for the new seats, they fit and they're secure.
Thank you. All in favor of authorizing the changes to the upgrades to the high school signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, MSBO bus purchase program. I need that the Board of Education approve the resolution to participate in the 2025-2026 MSBO bus purchase program. I need a motion.
Move.
All right,
I'll support.
Jen moves, Annie supports. Discussion.
Yeah, so we've participated before. The Michigan School Business Officials Association has a a bus purchasing program. I'll let Sonia speak a little bit more about just this program and then the
Sure.
bus.
So this is a consortium that MSBO runs, where they go out to bid for all the transportation companies that are interested in bidding. And we're able to take advantage of that work and build a bus with those companies, get our quotes, and we know that we've met all of the requirements by the state legislature to make sure that we're bidding things properly. So it takes some work off of our plate, and we know that we're getting the best deal, just like every other district in the state that wants to participate. This is an annual resolution to allow us to participate in the program, and then we'll have a vote after this to actually discuss purchasing buses.
Thank you. Any other questions?
And based on my review, it doesn't cost to be part of the program, but the cost is added on a minimal cost to the bus.
$125 per bus in order to be part of this program. Yes.
That's a very small percentage of this bus.
Something like that. All right, all those in favor that the Board of Education approve the resolution to participate in the 2025-2026 MSBO bus purchase program, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the bus purchase motion. We need a motion that the Board of Education approve the purchase of 5 buses from Midwest Transit Equipment at $164,097 plus $125 administration fee each, for a total of $821,110.
I'll make the motion.
And moved by Annie,
I'll support.
support by Jessica.
All right, so we discussed this quite a bit at the workshop and leading up to the workshop. You know, just the idea of purchasing 5 buses this year, using some of the accumulated fund balance that we have, so that we would forego the purchase of buses in calendar year 26-27, vehicle year 27, which is when new emission standards take effect. Concerns about the increased costs with these new emission standards, as well as the training and the implementation of new technology in those buses that may make it difficult to just make those moving. So buying 5 in 26 and taking 27 off with the buses. You'll notice that the recommendation is not the lowest cost bus, but this is a bus that we have had and been purchasing frequently. It is consistent with our current inventory, maintains consistency with training for working on the bus, and we've had a good longevity, a good record of longevity with the Midwest buses too. So the recommendation is to purchase the buses from Midwest Transit as well. Anything to add to that?
Just that these are, the Midwest Transit sells international buses, which are the ones that we have in our fleet, whereas the other 2 vendors do not sell international.
The bids that we got, or the specs that we got at our last meeting, are they all repeated on this, or do we have more?
They're
detail
exactly
on
the
those?
same.
They are exactly the same, okay, because I seem to think that we had way more. Several
Just
more
keeps
pages.
going.
Oh, it just
Got
goes
5
on.
more pages.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't see the dealer options, but, all right, anyway. Any other questions? Then if there are no more questions, I will entertain, all in favor of purchasing 5 buses from Midwest Transit Equipment at $164,097 plus $125 administration fee each, for a total of $821,110, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Now to our information section, Human Resources Update, Mr. Shahaki.
Yeah, thanks. You heard me, I think it was last month, I talked about the Michigan Association of Retired School Personnel. We had it scheduled for a time in January, it was canceled, so we had to reschedule. We're actually there this evening at the middle school, or later afternoon into the evening. And we had 30 individuals from our district show up, some educators spouses, and some scenarios where both came, but there was a lot of information that was delivered. And the really nice thing about the presentation that was delivered is they help each educator present fill out this life tracks. And I'll leave, I didn't want to take all of his copies, but I'll leave a master copy for the board to see at the end of the night. But you fill out the life tracks for you and your spouse, and they're able to run numbers for you. And they actually, this organization sits down with you one-to-one and has discussions, whether you're close to retirement or you're just in the early stages of trying to figure it out. And we had, within those 30 people tonight, we had individuals who have already applied to retire through ORS. We have people that maybe are looking at retirement maybe in the next 5 to 10 years. And then we had some there this evening who probably have 20 plus years to go in education who wanted to get a handle on how it works. And throughout the presentation, I mean, they covered everything from the life tracks, and that's getting all the different numbers to start running multipliers to the different insurance options, the pension benefits, how the calculations are done, the different programs, beneficiary options, scenarios. And kind of the key point that I took away from that is everybody has a different path, and their map is so different that when it comes time to retire, they really need to sit down, study it, ask questions, and meet with people in organizations like this, so you do have the best pathway to a good retirement. So it was great. There's a lot of people in this room that were here there tonight, so many ears on the presenter and the organization. This 2 years in a row that we've had this group come in, and actually they presented to the bus drivers in the fall, if you remember me talking about that, or I'm sorry, late summer, it was August, kind of as a PD. So they have been a part of our district, and my plan is to continue to have them a part as well. Two little quick things. Last Monday night, we had our fourth mentor meeting with new teachers, new educators for the year. Steve Goff, I don't know if he's going to talk about it, but he had a curriculum piece like he always does, really focusing on professional learning teams and collaboration and how we operate as a district. Nate came in and talked about board policy, where to find it, elaborate on some things that we see day to day, also some things we might not see so often, but still very important to introduce to educators newer to our system. So that was refreshing. We were able to introduce our Director of Student Services, Dana Champion-Wigfield, to all of our new hires, or newer hires, I should say. And then lastly, I was able to close and kind of piggyback off of Nate and the board policy, but really focus on contractual changes that were new to this year after the last negotiation. I spoke with all the new hires in August, but there's so much going on, they don't always take everything in. So we revisited the contractual changes, and then also talked about some things that have been in the contract that many times Julie Wasik and I will talk about, try to focus on, and maybe have a discussion, do those newer teachers know? Do the teachers who've been here for a while know? So really trying to go over that as well. And then lastly, speaking of contracts and negotiations, we met with the drivers again about a week and a half ago. We're going to be meeting again on February 20th, and we're in that formal process where there are proposals and counter proposals that are going back and forth as we try to get the negotiation process completed. So that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
I wanted to add, did you say before that you were opening the retirement seminar up to people beyond our district, or did I mishear that?
I did.
Okay.
There-
Do we have anyone from outside
There
the
were
district?
two that signed up outside of the district. They did not show, so the 30 people I referred to were all in district.
Okay.
Or family members of district employees. The one thing I will say is because we had to reschedule it, I had to really push communication out a little differently on the where, the when, and the change. And I don't know, people that were coming really were from quite a distance, to be honest.
Okay.
So I don't know if that changed their path for this evening.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah. But when we do it again, I'd love it. Board members would be more than happy to have you there. It's very interesting, to be honest. There's a lot to it.
Thank you. Budget update, Mrs. Hodge.
Okay, so the governor's budget is going to be released on Wednesday, so we're looking forward to seeing what's in that. I am keeping a close eye on it because from the January revenue estimating conference, we know that the school aid fund is looking fairly healthy in a very moderate way. We're seeing revenue increases in their estimates from last May for this year and next year. So that's a really good sign for the school aid fund. And they're looking at 2 to 2.5% annual growth out the next several years. Also a very good sign for the school aid fund. It's looking like the end of this year, they'll be ending this, the fund balance in the school aid fund will be $751 million. So that's pretty healthy for the school aid fund. We're looking forward to seeing what that number ends up being. But on the state's general fund side, things are not as rosy. They estimated the revenues for this year and next year lower than what they estimated in May. And they actually showed for 24-25 there was a negative 0.4% growth in revenue to the general fund at the state level. For 25-26, they revised their revenue numbers down by $980 million. And then for 26-27, they revised the numbers down by almost 1.3 million. So significant revisions from what they had estimated in May. And what that means for the general fund at the state level is that this school year, 25-26, they're estimating to have a $90 million deficit at the end of September. And then for 26-27, they'll have an $822 million deficit in the general fund of the state. So keeping a close eye on what that means for not only the state budget overall, but the school aid fund, because we would expect that we'd see more money for higher education coming out of the school aid fund than has in the past. Right now, the general fund pays for a good portion of higher ed, but every year it seems like they pull a little bit more out of the school aid fund to help pay for the higher education. So we would expect that trend to continue based on these numbers. We're just not sure to what extent that will happen. But I think at the bottom line is they will have a lot of decisions to make on the general fund side, and I think that will impact the amount of general fund that supports the school aid fund for this coming year. So it'll be interesting to see what the governor's budget looks like after hearing these numbers. And then of course, we will see the Senate and House budget proposals in April or May, somewhere around there. So more to come, and it should be an interesting year.
Any questions? Thank you. Curriculum update, Mr. Goff.
Yeah, our curriculum council met on January 29th for the second time this year. In addition to the craft arts course that you heard about earlier tonight, they reviewed the open court implementation K-5, reveal math implementation K-8. All of our buildings had positive reports on the impact of those programs, and a lot to say about the consistency that those Tier 1 resources are bringing to our elementary program. They reviewed the 6-12 Flex Time Tier 2 intervention program implementation. This is the first year for our middle school, so we don't have student evidence for that program yet. I expect we'll have that at the end of this trimester. We'll have some, they started in December. But our high school did report that the course failure rate at the high school in the first trimester was again below 2%. This is the third time, I think, since we instituted that intervention program that the high school failure rate has been below 2%, and it's been below 3% every trimester since instituting that intervention program. We also discussed a Tier 1 resource review cycle that we're hoping to put into print so that we can be more intentional about staff members knowing what the expectation is going to be to review and report out on their Tier 1 resources, and also give us the ability to plan financially going forward. What resources do we have? How old are they? When will they need to be replaced, and so on, so that we can plan long-term for that as well. Friday, February 13th this week is a half day of instruction for students with professional development in the afternoon. Our principals have been preparing for that for several months now. And I think we have a good day of learning and professional development set up for our staff with really a focus on vertical collaboration between the grade levels, and even the buildings. Our middle school and high school have partnered up, and we'll be spending time collaborating 6-12. We've got some K2 math PD planned at Bushnell in the afternoon. That'll be led by our math coordinator, Carmen Tawney, with a focus on building thinking classrooms and understanding math fact fluency through games. That's professional development that we've accessed through the ISD for a number of years now, where we've had staff members going through that experience, and now Mrs. Tawney is going to provide some additional PD on site. On that day, we have some CPI training we talked about in prior board meetings. And then in the afternoon, our teachers in the middle school and high school will be doing some AI basics for educators. So they'll be doing some learning around artificial intelligence. The district calendar and professional development advisory committee will be meeting this week on February 11th to start talking about what our calendar is going to look like going into next year and our professional development plan. My hope is to have that professional development plan formalized in writing before we leave for the summer, so that our principals have time to prepare and our staff will know what our focus is going to be next year. And then as Mr. Chalky mentioned, we did meet with our mentor group again last week. The curriculum focus of that meeting was around the book Learning by Doing, which is kind of the guidebook for professional learning communities. We're doing a book study with that group, and we focused on chapter 6, a focus on learning that really kind of talks about how we want to go about creating curriculum in a collaborative way and make sure that we've got a cycle of review. So we not only are we creating that curriculum, but we're focused on learning, and we know that the students are learning because we see evidence of that learning as part of our professional learning team process. Those teams again meet every other week right now for 45 minutes to really focus on those curriculum pieces, but also we're trying to place an emphasis on using that time to review evidence of student learning so that we know that the things that we're doing are working. That group next month will focus on the chapter related to assessment practices. So we talked this month about how to create the learning opportunities. Next month will be about how we gather that evidence so that we know, again, that those experiences are working. Thank you.
Any questions? All right, public comments.
All right, we have 2 tonight. Eleanor Osmer.
Eleanor, before you start, just to let you know, we've got a timer up on the screen up there, so our public comments are limited to 3 minutes. And just ask that you identify yourself and where you live, and then we'll get started here once you're done with that part.
All right, thank you. My name is Eleanor Osmar, and I'm a high school student. I live in Lowell Township. Yeah. Okay, good afternoon. This past week, I attended a school walkout in protest of the current ICE administration and other unjust actions that have been taking place by the current administration alongside my peers. The walkout was successful with approximately 100 students attending. To me, it was a very inspiring and important event that allowed me to feel a sense of community and understanding, which I would never have expected to find in such a rural district. This past week, I'm sure the school has received a lot of backlash through email and also social media. I appreciate your efforts to keep communication strong between parents and schools. I would like to remind the school and community that the students that attended were not simply attempting to skip class, but were marching with purpose. My peers and I are incredibly politically literate as we regularly take clean sweeps at our Model UN conferences and extremely high passing rates for our AP Gov exam, which last year the graduating class rate for passing was 92%. Organizers for the anti-ICE protest worked with Mr. Lowe through multiple meetings and emails to set expectations and to best execute our plans. We worked very hard to learn all possible repercussions and requirements to make sure we could best come to a compromise to both give us the opportunity to express our First Amendment right while also following the rules the best we could. I would like to express my gratitude towards Mr. Lowe for having multiple meetings with students where we were trying to make this walkout a reality. Mr. Lowe was non-biased and held many accommodations. I'm very grateful for the allowance for us to have our walkout, but yet I feel slightly betrayed by an email students who participated received on Friday. Students who participated will now receive detention this Friday after school. It is extremely disheartening to receive this email as we worked extremely hard to fulfill learned the potential repercussions from our principal, Mr. Lowe, who knew our expectations and did not express the potential for detention. He sent out on the 30th recommending that the students receive the student handbook, but did not set the discussion of detention. I understand the district may be upset about the amount of media attention and feel the pressure to punish us because of this negative narrative. The students, organizers, and attendants feel resentment because we followed the rules, the strict rules of students staying on school property and media not entering property. In the previous meeting, the students and Mr. Lowe discussed the possibility for students to have unexcused absences if they were 10 minutes late, and the possibility of detention was possible for students who had 8 or more tardies. This was the expectation set forth. I feel as if we were blindsided by getting the detention. The detention severely affected my friends along with me who are still waiting to hear back from top colleges and who fear their application may be compromised because of this decision. I have numerous friends who I met through Girls' Day who also coordinated a school walkout and did not receive detentions. I understand the different school, different handbook rules, and it feels odd that students who coordinated closely with the principal I apologize. The detention will not stop us for future assembly, but it will affect the relationship of trust between students and our school administration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Susan McDonald. I live in Alto. I'm the parent of a 2024 graduate and a current student who is on track to graduate in 2026. My son participated in the walkout this past Tuesday. He came to his dad and me ahead of time and talked about his intentions. We had conversations with him about permission, about missing class, and about the expectations and possible outcomes of that choice. We do support his right to express disagreement with things he doesn't believe are right, but we also strongly emphasize doing so in a respectful and appropriate way. That is very important to us. From what I saw and heard, the students largely handled themselves well. I do think there were probably moments where things could have been handled better. I honestly don't know because I wasn't there. But overall, these are young people learning how to navigate big issues, and learning often comes with a few missteps. My son came home a little upset that there was a consequence because he didn't think there would be one. He was given a detention. I want to be clear, I don't think it's a big deal. It was likely earned, and serving a consequence for a choice you made is appropriate. I would imagine the school may be getting some pushback from parents and students about this, but that will not happen from me. My kids are not perfect. My son has made mistakes before and faced consequences for them. And he deserved those too. My goal as a parent is not perfection, it's to raise kids who grow into functioning, responsible adults. I want them to be passionate about causes and to care about people. I want their beliefs to be based on knowledge and facts, but I also want them to understand that choices come with consequences. He made the choice to walk out. I admire his passion and his willingness to stand up for what he sees as an injustice, something I'm not sure I would have done. Actually, I am positive I would not have done this at his age. At the same time, accepting responsibility is a part of that growth. So I want to say thank you to Mr. Lowe, to the high school, to the staff, and his fellow walker-outers. Wonderful, 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 intelligent kids. I appreciate the role that you play in helping guide these young people as they learn how to handle the world around them. Thank you for partnering with me and my husband in raising our children to understand both responsibility and accountability.
Excuse me.
If you didn't fill out.
So our procedure for public comments is that community members will present requests prior to the meeting to speak in public comment. So,
Yeah. I mean, can I?
next month?
I'm a community member.
Next month.
Sure.
You have to submit the
you have
form
to fill
before
out
we
the-
start.
You have to fill out the form and submit it before we
It'd be
start.
nice, it'd be nice if you guys let the public know. Put it on the website, let the public know, because you need to communicate with the public. Okay?
We do.
just to let you know, so I want to put that on the record.
Okay.
You have to communicate better.
All right.
Yeah, it's right on the agenda.
Yeah, but website, online, Facebook page,
Which is online.
I don't see any information about that because I don't have the kid. So you guys can do better than that. So I'm gonna put that in the next public comment.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent's report.
All right. Couple things, just, you know, in response to public comment, which is often a risk, you know, run the risk of misspeaking. You know, I would say that we do have, our procedures are online, and there is, you know, at the table as well for just that process for making public comment at our meetings. Also, would like to echo Eleanor's comments about and thanking Mr. Lowell for just the proactive communication that went into the walkout. You know, I think part of that communication was just that we would be following the student code of conduct. You know, if students were out of class for a certain period of time, that tardy becomes an absence. That happened, and just maintaining consistency with how those consequences are applied for an absence. So, you know, I think that communication is an important part of trust, and I'm confident that we're going to continue to work to maintain trust and strengthen that trust with our student body. Also, just, you know, how I started out by mentioning the risk of public comment. I did respond to Mrs. Arcelowitz last month and took her comments regarding Mrs. Beechler that it may have been critical of Mrs. Beechler for her response to people, and that was not what her intention was. And so, apologize for misunderstanding that. And what I am happy to report, though, is just we've talked about the communication, and I know that the follow-up communication that Mrs. Arcelowitz and Mrs. Beechler have had has been very positive. And so I appreciate Mrs. Beechler's just willingness to engage with parents and engage with our community to help build understanding about our library program, our checkout procedures, our ordering procedures, and all of those things that make that program so strong. Some of the school business that we've talked about, the weather has been mentioned. It was good to get into some regular routines last week. You know, also, I look forward to continuing that this week as well as we head into midwinter break. I've been asked about snow days. We have had 6 this school year, which is the allowable amount under the state, you know, how we count our days in minutes. At this point, if we were to get an additional snow days, we're able to apply for an exemption for up to 3 more snow days that would need to be approved by the state superintendent. So that would be the next step if we were to have some more inclement weather that would result in school closures. And then beyond that time, when we would be talking about potentially making up time, sacrificing funding, those are the kind of conversations that we'd be having as a board with teachers, with families, and having that type of communication. So I'm hopeful that we don't get to that point. Some exciting things around the district. Friday, saw a really cool thing at Cherry Creek. In this room, we've heard from the Cherry Creek Student Leadership group, and they planned a, call it a snow sculpture contest among the grade levels. Some of the individual classrooms within those grade levels built their own sculptures, but just a great way to celebrate winter, a great way to build some great culture, and have a celebration of just the positive behavior and positive choices that our students at Cherry Creek are making. So kudos to the Cherry Creek, our Cherry Creek Leadership Committee. Also, I just mentioned, I should have done this before when I was talking about the snow days, but we have gotten a lot of snow and it has been really cold. So I want to give kudos. Last month I mentioned Greg Pratt and Cody Buchanan. But those two, as well as Anthony Bowler and Derek Kessler with our grounds crew, have been really busy. And about 2 weeks ago, they were really tired and you could see it. But just their dedication of keeping our equipment running, keeping our sidewalks, our parking lots, our entrances clear, and with one exception, just keeping our equipment running for our heating equipment. We had some bitter cold temperatures, and those guys did a great job of monitoring all that. So I appreciate the work that they do and did. Another celebration and just highlighting a community partner here in Lowell. A lot of us have benefited by the programming at the Y over the years, and this week, last week, we've added after school and before school care at Bushnell Elementary. Previously, our Bushnell students have gone to Cherry Creek for that. What doing it at Bushnell allows us to do is expand that service to GSRP families. And so we have GSRP families who are able to take care of that before and after school care, as well as letting our Bushnell students do it at their home school instead of having our youngest kids take a bus to their after school program. So really appreciate the partnership with the Y for that. I think it's good to note that it is enrollment season coming upon us, and so February 18th, our tuition-based preschool classes and kindergarten enrollment is going to open for our online enrollment, and then February 26th is the date for our Great Start Readiness preschool enrollment. So looking forward to helping parents through that process and getting next year's crop of kindergartners and preschools enrolled. So with that, I would just add that I learned tonight that last week was National School Counselors Week, so thank you, Chi-Chi, for that. And I have some work to do to wish people well on that. And yeah, looking forward to the musical before our next meeting, and that's it for my comments tonight.
Board communications, I'm going to start at my right. Pat?
Okay. Just one thing I'd like to add and mention. Since our last board meeting, we've been alerted to the passing of a longtime Lowell teacher, Mrs. Jane Gillespie, who colleague and friend of Ms. Kuna also, who was a very impactful teacher on many generations of Lowell students, including my family and my brother and sisters. We've had numerous Mrs. Gillespie chats over the last 3 or 4 weeks here. I have an opportunity here at these meetings to do a lot of public speaking, and I can do a little bit of it based on what I can do, but a lot of it goes back to the skills that I learned from Mrs. Gillespie when I was in high school. She was my debate coach, forensics coach, where she taught me extemporaneous speaking, which I competed in for Lowell schools for 4 years and do a lot of here at these meetings still. Parliamentary procedure that we learned in speech class with Mrs. Gillespie. And so day in and day out, the skills that I learned and the mentoring from her definitely have affected me and are something that I continue to cherish. And so just wanted her name to end up as a tribute into our minutes today.
Yeah.
Annie?
Yeah, I just want to echo both public commenters. I'm really proud of the students that walked out and the parents that support the students that walk out. Absolutely. I'm really proud of how all of this was handled on both ends, from administration and students. And Eleanor, you mentioned that we might be upset about media attention. Speaking personally now, I'm not at all upset by media attention, because I think it really showed that our students are incredibly intelligent and aware of what's going on, exactly what Eleanor just mentioned. So I hope that you get the credit you deserve for that. And I am a college professor, and I could tell you that a detention for getting into what John Lewis would call good trouble might actually really quite benefit a college application, especially when you combine the amount of work that your group put into communication and organizing a very successful event. So congrats to you all, and thanks to Mrs. McDonald, who, if she's still here, thank you for supporting your child and practicing democracy as well.
I would just like to say that I just spent the last 3 or 4 days of last week in Washington DC at our National School Board Association's advocacy conference, and I will give more information to the board during the workshop. I just didn't have, circumstances have been such that I haven't been able to get my stuff together for tonight. But one of the lessons that I think can be learned from what happened at the school with the walkout and is exactly what Annie just said, is that we learn responsibility, we learn how to form our opinions, informed opinions that we get from our teachers, from our parents, from our colleagues in school. And it just, I admire you as well, and I respect the fact that you made the choice. One of the things that does go along with that is a detention. You know, there are consequences for your actions, and to me a detention is really a pretty minor one. So congratulations for staging a successful event. Please keep up your advocacy. Also, always make it informed advocacy. Don't just scream because you feel like screaming, okay? And that is all I have to say. So with that, if there is nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved by Jen,
I'll support.
supported by Jessica. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is, our meeting is adjourned at 7:49. Thank you. Sure. Okay.